Okay, so, I am just realizing that anytime that a lot of these black dudes can find a reason to just beat up and blow down on black women, they do it. So I'm sure everyone has heard about the case of Botham Jean and Amber Guyger. So I'm not really going to go too much into that. But instead of them being more upset about the fact that Botham Jean was shot and killed while he was sitting on his couch eating ice cream, instead of them being more mad about that or them talking about the actual sentencing, they're upset that the judge hugged Amber Guyger. But what they're neglecting to point out is that minutes earlier, Botham Jean's brother hugged Amber Guyger. Yeah, wanted to hug the woman that walked into his brother's apartment and shot and killed him. Nobody wants to talk about that, though. No one's giving the brother a hard time or pointing out the fact that it's mighty interesting that your empathy went to the white woman as opposed to going to your brother who really was just sitting in his apartment eating ice cream and watching TV. Wasn't doing anything wrong. But your sympathy goes to the white woman, so much so that you wanted to reach out and hug her as she was in the process of being sentenced for killing your brother. Okay? But people don't want to talk about that. These black men on social media, they don't want to talk about that. And if they are talking about it, they're like, well, the judge hugged him too. Listen, let me tell you something. I know, at least where I'm from, a lot of judges are elected. And so, listen, when you're in a position like that, you have to make sure that in these high profile cases, you don't do too much to rub the people who are going to be voting for you the wrong way. I know it sounds messed up, but that's just what it is. And the other thing too is that there is kind of a close relationship between police departments, prosecutors' offices, and, judges. I mean, that's just what it is. And so once this case is over, that judge needs to be able to get up and come back to work the next day and know that she has not ruined those relationships with the police departments. Because y'all know how police officers are, honey. If police officers don't roll with you and you are in a position where you need voter support, you're not going to be reelected without the police department's support. Because that's just how they roll. And at the end of the day, black women are not protected by a system where, we have a military and a whole government that could back us up and support us if we needed it. We don't have that. So a lot of times when it comes to our working relationships, guess what? As long as you're in a position where you have to get up and go to somebody's job every day, you got to remember that whatever you do, you don't need to piss people off so much that you don't have that job, okay? So that's probably all she was doing. And the prosecutor in this case was a black woman. I feel like she did a good job in the face of a lot of pressure because she was dealing with the police department that initially didn't even want to fire Amber, and this prosecutor had the courage to charge Amber Guyger with murder. This prosecutor had the courage to go into that courtroom and look at the jury and say, please sentence her to at least 28 years. That would have been symbolic because I think Botham had a birthday that would have just passed and he would have just turned 28. So she went into that courtroom and fought very hard, okay, to get a conviction, and she did what she was supposed to do. But everybody wants to leave that out. Because you can't talk about her and have an excuse to beat up on a black woman. But they want to talk about a judge making a move that was probably politically savvy and ignore the fact that the man's own brother hugged her and openly told everyone during the sentencing hearing. I don't know if it was before or after she was sentenced, but at some point during the sentencing hearing, He's the one that stood up in that courtroom and said, I forgive you, and gave her a hug. And so what people have to understand is that in those situations, all those other people are not going to be more upset than his own family. Now, obviously, I can tell that his parents are very hurt. His girlfriend, also a black woman, has shown up at the protest and has really been front and center this entire time. She wasn't like Stephon Clark's girlfriend, who didn't even show up to the funeral. But anyway, you know, his black woman, his girlfriend, was very supportive. And so, of course, no one's going to talk about that, because if you talk about that, then there's no opportunity to beat up on a black woman. You know, it seems like he comes from a very good family. His mother was present and gave very wonderful, heartwarming testimony. Nobody's talking about that, because you can't talk about her in a way where you can make fun of a black woman. So the one thing people got out of this story, where a man was shot and killed for literally being in his apartment, sitting on his couch, eating his ice cream, watching his TV. And the white woman that walked into his apartment and shot and killed him only got a 10-year sentence. And all that these black men on social media can talk about is, oh, I can't believe the judge gave her a hug. Not, I can't believe this woman walked into someone's apartment and shot and killed them. Not, I can't believe that, you know, his own brother had the audacity to say, I forgive you, and give her a hug. Not that. You're not mad at any of those things. But the one thing you can extract out of this story is the judge hugged Amber, and therefore that gives you an opportunity to blow down on black women. Ladies, understand, these Negroes, a lot of these Negroes ain't about shit. Okay? Anyway, I hope you all are having a good week, and I will talk to you all very soon.